Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on the DAZN. I was thinking, because I'm sure you've had many of these moments because you've been at some of the biggest and best fights, most of them over the last few decades. Don't you just feel honoured to be somewhere, just in the presence of one of, if not the greatest ever? Just...
It's exactly what I'm thinking. Just a total pleasure, right? Fantastic to see 90,000 at Wembley. Always a special occasion at the National Stadium. But to see a special fighter, to see somebody who has become a beacon of light for his country through really difficult times, has become iconic in the boxing world, who has achieved so much and just keeps on doing things we don't expect him to do, right? Okay, he was favoured to win. Most of us thought he'd find a way. But he's just exceptional. So good in rematches. I thought he was slightly, not rattled by Daniel Dubois, but I think he wanted to make a statement tonight.
He predicted a knockout. He never predicts a knockout.
Yeah, he did. And you don't push the horses. I think that he wanted to light up Wembley tonight. I think he came out with a steely intent. He did what he did against AJ in the first fight at Spurs. He took away Dubois' jab straight away. And I think Daniel's only chance really was to double and treble the jab and get real input into the fight. And it just didn't happen. And the first couple of rounds were really difficult for Dubois. I thought he was shaken at the end of the second. I thought he did better to come back in the third. I think he tried his hardest. It was just a case of levels. I thought Usyk was superb tonight. I thought his feet were fantastic. I thought his jab was like a wand, and he was aggressive as well. And it was only a matter of time, really. And I think I said in the fifth round, this was the round where it all went right for Daniel Dubois in September. And is this going to turn into a nightmare in the same round? And it was ironic that it was the fifth round, but I thought it was a breathtaking performance from Oleksandr Usyk. And I think that the thousands that were here tonight at Wembley and the millions that watched it on DAZN around the world, can just think what a pleasure. And it's something that you tell your grandkids. You were there when there was greatness, and he is great. And he's great inside the ring, outside the ring. He's a fantastic human being, and he's an amazing boxer. And I've been lucky enough to spend some real quality time in his training camp. I've said it on record before, I don't think I've ever seen somebody train like Usyk does. And he fights with a wizardry that people just can't deal with, good fighters can't deal with. He's an exception, he's a one-off, a three-time undisputed champion for someone who started as an amateur middleweight, and he's cleaned up at cruiserweight and twice at heavyweight in a really good era. I think you've got to say that not only is he pound for pound king of this era, but I think he could sit in any era, and he's got to be seen, or will be seen, once the history books are there, as I think one of the top 10 fighters of all time. That's how highly I rate him.
In terms of Daniel, I was just listening to Frank Warren's press conference, and he said, one thing is, he needs to learn to move his head. Now, obviously, there's a brilliance of Usyk that we spoke about, but just the things that perhaps Daniel could have changed. There wasn't much head movement, really, was there?
No, and I think that he didn't land enough jabs in Poland, and I think that was the chance tonight. The only chance he had was to double and treble the jab and somehow physically pressure Usyk. He did try the right hand, especially around the sort of back of the ear, and then unfortunately he got one, which led to the end, really. What a booming left-hander finish it that took the gum shield out with him. It was a sickening knockout, really. But yeah, look, he tried his hardest. And I think it's just a case, and I was speaking to some of his team afterwards, that he just has to accept he wasn't good enough, and there's no disgrace in that. No one else has beaten Usyk in 24 professional fights. I think the idea that he was going to get old at 38 and he was in some sort of decline. I thought the last few rounds of the Fury fight were phenomenal, and I thought he was even better tonight. So just exceptional.
Who do you want to see Usyk fight next, or do you want to see him hang up the gloves?
I'd like to see him have a homecoming in Ukraine. That's what I really want. I said last week about Katie Taylor, neither Katie or Oleksandr have anything to prove to anyone. they're going to go down. There's two of the greatest fighters of all time. I'd love to see Katie have a welcome back in Ireland in a big stadium, a sort of goodbye fight, and I'd like to see Oleksandr have the same in Ukraine. Obviously, it's a much harder situation for his home country, but he's done so much to light up the world that it would be fantastic for him and his people if he could have a huge stadium show in Kyiv. Look, fingers crossed that can happen before he hangs the gloves up. If he doesn't, I'd love to see him back here at Wembley against Joe Parker, against...
Do you think him and Joe Parker could
Tyson.
sell Wembley?
Yes, I think Oleksandr Usyk could probably sell Wembley alone now. I think he had the majority of the crowd, and I think everybody's going to go back and think, wow, you know, we were in the stadium where we saw greatness, and I think that he's a global fighter now, Usyk. I think Britain's his second home, and I think he could sell it out now against pretty much anyone.
It's funny because boxing is a niche sport at the most of the times. I know this is undisputed and it's heavyweight, so it's different, but you've got Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, who we consider to probably be like more of the A-list side of celebrity outside of boxing. Usyk, considering he doesn't speak the best English, which, you know, it's not his native language, has somehow in this country transformed himself into a celebrity.
So Oscar,
amazing.
I walked out with him the night that AJ lost to Dubois. I walked out of the stadium with him back to the Hilton Hotel across the road, and I mean, it was just extraordinary. The people coming up to him, flocking to him. The Brits love him. He's fought here, he's beaten our best. He's always incredibly humble, incredibly gallant, incredibly respectful. He loves it here, and I think that's why I think he could sell out Wembley on his own. I don't think it matters really, but I'd like to see him fight in Ukraine if it's possible in any way. I think that would be the best way to bring the curtain down on what has been an unprecedented career, and a career that I think we are just very privileged to be part of as media and watching on, and you know, just to have the... I said it when Loma fought Luke Campbell. It was just an absolute pleasure to watch Loma's feet that night. And
Do you think you have to see it up close to realise?
I think it helps. I think you can really see his mastery when you're 6 feet away, and I'm very honoured to have that sort of seat in the house. And I felt for Daniel tonight. He really tried. He was desperate. I think psychologically he was in a great place. But unfortunately, the sport is about two things. It's about levels and about timing. I think the timing might have been right for Dubois, but unfortunately, he couldn't reach the level of Usyk. And Usyk's timing and level is just better than anyone else's.